Okay, today on Prepper Shadow Hawk's Corner, we are making a batch of blueberry wine. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a gallon today so I can show you guys how to do it. I've got a metabolic cleaner in here to clean the bottle I'm going to use, along with my vapor lock. So now what I'm going to do, since this stuff is such a good cleaner, you don't have to worry about contaminating as long as it's in here. So I'm going to pour it over my hands and get all my parts of my vapor lock out, as well as get all of the stuff out of there that I need out. Now, this is a brand new container that I'm using to do this with, so I've got to put a hole inside the lid for my vapor lock. This is kind of easy. I just grab a drill with a drill bit, like so. I find the center and I drill it out. Be right. Okay, so next we're going to prepare the blueberries to go in. And the way we do that is I take the blueberries and I put them all, as many as I can at once anyway, into this little doohickey I got that'll allow me to crush them up like this. Oh, gotta plug it in, don't I? That helps. And since this doesn't have a long enough cord to reach, I'm gonna have to do it up here on the counter, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Yeah, you want to get them as mushed up as you can, so to speak. Real technical term, mushed up. Anyway. Now, what we do is we take this batch, and we're going to pour it into our clean container. Then we're going to do the next one. And we do this total of 4 times. I use 4 pints for 1 gallon. That comes out really, really awesome. I think you're going to really appreciate this recipe. And this is a good prepping item. This is something that you can store and you can use for bartering down the road when you need to. So let's get these in. Now I like to add 2 pounds of regular cane sugar into this as well. So what I do is I've got my trusty little scale out here, turn it on, make sure it's at there. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my sugar. I use cane sugar, white cane sugar, just like I'd be making a batch of moonshine. In fact, I can even turn this around and put some heat to it and make moonshine, blueberry moonshine out of the same recipe. I want 1 pound or 2 pounds Actually, there we go. How about that? Now, what I do is I take this, I pour it on, whoop, I'm going to turn it around since I snapped that rim. I'll just use that rim to squeeze it and pour it on in. Now I've got some good old hot water right here, so I can pour that on in here to help break down the sugar some. Now I need to get my stirring spoon, which I've cleaned. And I will stir the sugar and the hot water together with the blueberry mash. And there we go. So I'm going to leave that inside of here while I pour myself off some more distilled water into the pot to warm up to put my yeast in. And I need a knife here. We're going to use 1 pack of brewing yeast and some warm water, but we want the water to be between, I think it's 95 and let's see, needs to be between 100 and 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So I will get my trusty thermometer. I shall see what the water temperature is. And it is safe to say that is the right temperature. That was quick, was it not? So, turn the stove off, pour the water into the glass. Go ahead and pour some regular water into here. This is distilled water still. And you want distilled water because it's the cleanest that you can get your hands on. That way you know there's no bacteria or anything like that that would be growing into it and causing issues. Okay, that looks pretty much like we're at the temperature that we want. So now we're going to add the yeast into this glass to activate it. And what I like to do is use something to kind of stir it in. As you see, when it goes in like that, you know that it's fine, that's good yeast. So now we can take the yeast and the mash mixture of yeast and pour it all straight on in. Now I also like to add some super fermentation into it, and I typically just add about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to put that much in it, which is about a teaspoon. maybe a teaspoon and a half. And then I'm going to stir it. Really good. And tomorrow I'll come back and stir it again. And then in about 3 weeks to a month, it should be pretty much fermented to alcohol. So what we're going to do now is test the alcohol in it and see how much alcohol we actually are going to be possibly looking at. And this is a sterile meter made just for this. And it tests the density of sugar. And we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about already 17. So that means that this is going to be a really, really strong batch. So I need to rinse this off. And you can get these at any of your winemaking places. It's a beer, triple scale beer and wine hydrometer. And then what I do after that is simply this. Take my lid with the airlock on it, tighten it down. A lot of people like to use water in the airlock, but water evaporates really quick. So what I do is I take a little vodka and I put some vodka into it. And what that does is it allows the airlock to work, and you don't have to worry about you running out of liquid in there to keep everything going. And it should start bubbling in a few seconds. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let me move the